All right. I can't hear anybody. Are we on? Is this thing on?
Mic check.
I think we're good. Oh, yeah, we're good. We're live.
Cool,
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Whiskey Friday. We've got a couple special guests this week. We're going to start with my main man, Gabe Zamora. Say hi to everybody,
guys?
Gabe.
What's up? What's up?
So, Gabe, if you don't know, drives the black and white 991.2 GT3RS in a number of different time attacks around the country, and for 3 years now, 2 years now.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
2.5, something like that.
Yep.
They stripped the interior. They've got all of our goodies on the car, which is fantastic. And what's interesting about this day in particular is the last time that Gabe had the car at Laguna Seca. Obviously, you can hear the noisy Miatas or whatnot behind you. That nice 4-cylinder going on. The last time he was out there, he did not have all the parts that he has now. So
yeah.
Dive into that a little bit. First,
sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Hey, there's a full-on race of 40 cars going on right here.
Man, it's going to happen. It's all good. We did something similar at Rensport, and it was just worthless. All those 935s out there just screaming down in Laguna, and it was just impossible. So, Gabe, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Where you from? What you do? How you doing? All that good shit.
Cool. Yeah. So my name is Gabe. I live in between California and Sao Paulo, Brazil. That's where my wife and I live, in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Let's see a little bit about myself. I'm actually American. I'm a veteran. Was in the Navy for 8 years, 4 years of which I was with 2nd Battalion 4th Marines, which is a grunt unit based out of Camp Pendleton. The other 4, I was in the emergency room at Camp Pendleton, the hospital there.
Yep.
Decided to get out and see if the relationship between me and my girlfriend at the time was worthwhile. And couldn't do that while I was in because she went back to Brazil. So got out, started seeing her regularly in Brazil, decided to make a move out there. And eventually we got married this past year.
He moved for love. You wouldn't be the first one, brother. You moved for love. Good for you.
Exactly. So
gave it a shot.
That opened up doors for more motorsport stuff. I don't know how this happened, but coincidentally, one of her best friend's husbands is tied in really closely with basically the FIA over in Brazil.
Oh wow!
And he does a lot of racing, GT4s, spec racing. So he got me introduced into spec racing shit boxes out there.
Yeah.
Things called.
I love those videos. I love those videos. They're so fun to watch.
Yeah, man, it's a blast. Honestly, my first time racing, I just was laughing the entire time just because it was insane the amount of carnage going on around me. Right. It wasn't even. There was no nervousness at all. Just straight laughter the entire time.
Right.
But so I've done that a couple times. Next year, I'll probably buy a full seat and for the entire year. And get more competitive with that. I got some success out there, a couple sprint race wins, a couple podiums, but I'm not very
surprised.
Yeah, I'm not very consistent with it. So I'm hoping next year with a full seat the whole year, then I'll be able to hopefully bring home a championship. We'll see.
Right on. How long have you been driving?
5 years now.
Okay.
Yeah. Just started off as a regular track guy. Track day HPDE.
Yep.
Had one of my best friends get me into tracking. I got an E36, which I was reluctant at the time to get. I was just like, man, this thing's ugly. It's a piece of crap. The worst generation M3, and that thing changed my mind completely. So got great respect for E36s.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. That's the one. That's the one vintage of M3 that I would skip. That said. They are the most magically magical handling.
Exactly. So. It's a really good car to drive on track, right? They're not the prettiest, but the handling characteristics are insane. So
yeah, they teach you the right things, right?
Yeah.
They're not super powerful, but they can take some load and they take a shoe to be able to drive them, right?
Yeah, exactly. So just started off as a HPD guy and then slowly started getting more competitive. I'm a competitive person by nature, so it was only like the level of progression to get into time attack and then to wheel-to-wheel racing. So,
how much time do you spend on the sim?
oh, I spent a lot of time on the sim. I recently got rid of my sim rig out in Brazil because the apartment we moved into was a little too small to have a sim rig. So got rid of that, had to make some sacrifices. But when I'm back home in California, I mean, I'm on the sim pretty much every night, just either doing a race and iRacing or logging hot laps. So like this past week since I've been home, I've just been simming Laguna Seca over and over and over again.
Yeah, we've got a sim here at the shop, and it sits in the corner and doesn't get a lot of love. So I've moved some things out of my exercise room at home, and I'm going to move the sim in because my driving's kind of stagnated. As long as I have cheater parts, I'm fast. But if I don't have cheater parts, then I don't have the confidence that I should have driving the cars that I drive. So
yeah, sim racing. When you have actual data to look at, right? Because you can pull data like you could in real life off the car. I'm looking at the RS right here in front of me. You can pull more data from a sim rig than you can in an actual car, and more specifically, the throttle and brake pedal inputs. On the sim rig, if you got some good quality pedals, you can really dial in your pedals for real life driving. So, or your inputs. Sorry.
And that's kind of I'm decent. I'd say I'm in the top 10% of our guys here in the HPDE. So I'm quick. But I'm not comfortable when things are at 105%. Right. I'm good up to about 96, 97. But when it starts to go over that limit and the car's starting to do weird things, that's when I'm like, oh, hey, and I kind of back off, right? So I think doing that in the sim and trying to find those levels and those lines and be able to work through that. Where if I hit the wall, it's not a $300,000 car I just balled up. It's hit reset, do it again, and get done. So
yeah, exactly. Or you go race in Brazil, and if you crash there, you have to pay $200 to repair the car.
or that. The time away from mama might be a problem, but you know. So here's the rig. It's beautifully done. They had a great wrap put on it. It's a kind of an interesting arrangement. So Gabe comes in and drives the car. It's actually owned by his friend Jason Chin. Who drives a couple different cars. I think does he still have the prototype?
He just sold that. He's getting into rush racing now. And
right on. Yeah, that's pretty popular down in Cali. I know there's a bunch of guys doing that. So
now across the whole US. So Grid Life is doing their whole all their big events have the rush racing also as a part of the calendar. So today, dude, 40 fucking cars on track.
Dude, they sound like angry wasps, but 40 cars, that's real racing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially at Laguna, that's crowded.
Yeah. So last lap today, there was an incident down in turn 1 where the dude just came in a little too hot and
just took him out.
Dive bombed somebody and took him out, and the whole wheel was jacked up, dude. The whole all the control was broken, and they had probably like 20-minute delay because they were trying to figure out how they were going to lift that rush car. Because what they do is they take like a tow truck, with one of those. It's going to get really loud. They're going to start drifting right now.
Yeah, no worries.
They take a tow truck with one of those hooks on the back, right? And they grab it and they literally just drive it away. But for whatever reason, they couldn't figure out how to get that one off. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So, good racing. That's what Jason's attempting to do pretty soon here. And, man, that's my best friend for a couple of years now. One of my best friends. Great guy, obviously. Letting somebody drive a $300,000 supercar is not too many people can say they have that type of best friend. So
no, certainly not.
So thankful for him and good dude.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. So we're gonna do a little bit of a Dundon plug here. So the last time that Gabe was at Laguna, the car had headers and a tune on it, and you guys were running 100 octane, right? That's pretty normal for you guys to run 100 when you're out racing, right?
Yeah. So we were just doing so we were full interior. 100 octane tune from a different company.
Jesus Christ. Zero suspension, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
header,
yeah.
aero, and suspension, right?
And we had the Varus arrow as well.
Yeah, that's right. You had the Varus arrow. So yeah, that was
a lot of different parts going on. This is a completely different car this year, and then the success that we've had this year with the new parts. We've got the Zebulon and Dundon arrow.
Yep.
Sorry guys, I know this is really
That's all good.
It's actually distracting me.
It's all good. Yeah.
So your guys' arrow, the intake, the plenum, the throttle body, and your guys' tune now. We're making, obviously we haven't put it on a dyno yet, but I know for a fact we're making a lot more power just because it was 82 degrees today. And last year was in the 60s where we were wearing jackets the entire time. Right. So it was very hot today, just ambient temps, 82 degrees. I was hitting 5 miles an hour faster into my braking zone. So my trap speed, 5 miles an hour faster entering turn 1. And my exit was 5 miles an hour slower out of the last corner. So I was going, making up about 10 miles an hour difference. So,
yeah. That's fantastic.
Hoping to piece it together for tomorrow because I think if we can
get it there.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when the car's that much faster, your braking zone comes a lot quicker than you're expecting. So some of what you're doing is like you're out of rhythm, right?
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, last year too, we were trying a different brake compound. We went away from Ferodo and found out that was a mistake. The brake pads we had switched to did not like braking on curbs. So anytime I would brake on the curbs, it was ABS going haywire.
Okay.
So we went back to Ferodo, and now I'm all over the curbs braking, and there's no issues. So braking zones
what did
are.
You go to? What compound did you go to from the Ferodo?
Ferodo DS111s.
Yeah, so you're on DS111s. I like the 111.
I love those.
312 is too aggressive, too much bite. Is that what you were on? Was the 312s and then went back to the 111s, or what was upsetting the car?
Oh, so we went with a company called CSG Space or something. They're mainly JDM cars, Supras, BMW stuff, and so we tried that just because at the time Ferodo was having issues with supplying us. So
yeah, I remember that.
That was pretty much our only option, and
right on.
Yeah, as soon as I got done with that event,
then you're like
done. Yeah, get them out of
here. We put PFC 11s in the 992 3RS.
Yeah.
And they're fine for me, but Ted can get the car into ice mode, which is crazy.
Yeah. That's where the brake goes full stiff, right?
Full hard, full stiff. You know, your car doesn't slow down. You got to get back off the brake, get back on the brake. You got to be really smooth with it, all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
What we found is that braking compound the friction coefficient rises with temperature. And so on the RS, it's going so fast that rise is really quick and the friction increase is really quick. And it's much different from the front axle to the rear axle. So that's what it just instantly pisses the car off, especially somebody who can apply race car brake pressure right on the pedal. Then the car gets really upset. So glad you found a good compound because that's a huge thing. Right?
Yeah, it is a very big thing. It makes you realize that not all brake pads are made the same. Even if it says it's an endurance pad, right? Every endurance pad is going to be different, have different characteristics.
Oh, yeah.
And some cars like it, and some cars don't.
Yep. PFC is we try to stay in one family, but we've honestly been talking to Robin and company from Girodisc, and they have a pad compound that we're trying. But for now, we just went back to stock because I guess the new RS stock pad's pretty good. So compared to
I love my stock pads too.
Right? 992 GT3 were horrible. And that's what we started from those and we're like, nope, we're never running a stock Porsche pad again.
Okay. Even
though I'd say from 997 all the way up to the 992 GT3, they were great.
Yeah.
So they took the copper out of them for California on the 992 GT3, and that's why they turned to shit. They
really?
Yeah. So they fixed that. So there you go. Cool. So what's the prediction? You think?
hopefully tomorrow's a little cooler. I got to check the weather. Today was supposed to be cool. Today was supposed to be the same exact temps as we had last year. And it, like I said, it was way hotter. So if we can get out there in a session where it's as cool as it was last year, I have no doubt we could hit a 28.
Right on.
I don't think that's out of the question at all. But like I said, just got to get the right temps going. There's no way you can hit a crazy lap time when the track is as hot as it was today.
Yeah,
right?
100 degrees, right? And when the
Yeah,
tarmac's
exactly.
over 100 degrees, blazing in the 82-degree ambient. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
gonna cook
and
the tires.
yeah, exactly. So this last session, we put on a sticker set of tires, except we couldn't find any more Supercar 3Rs in the front. So I legit had 3 new tires, 1 front and 2 rears. So we had to run a tire that had already been like on its 6th heat cycle.
Right.
And you could definitely tell the difference. Anytime I
Oh,
turned right, it was just like understeer or oversteer. So
Sure.
a couple turns, it was both, right? It would enter as oversteer and then understeer, or understeer, oversteer.
Oh,
So
geez. Yeah, that'll jack with your confidence real quick as you're trying to get around the track. So
yeah, exactly. But everything to the left, amazing. So we got to know we have a full sticker set ready to go for the final showdown.
Cool.
It would be cool to throw those on in the morning and see what we could do in the best conditions, but I would prefer to
right?
exactly. I would prefer to
win.
bring home a gold than try to set some bullshit lap time that somebody else is going to beat 3 months from now.
Right, and everyone's under the same conditions at that point, right? If it's hot, it's hot. If it's cool, it's cool. You're out there to win the race, not set a record. Right?
Exactly.
That's
So,
so
yeah, we're sitting in P1 right now by over a second. I wasn't expecting us to be up by over a second, to be honest with you, but yeah, I'm pretty sure those guys will do something to catch up.
To you before, though, brother. This happened in Texas.
Oh yeah. So we're not taking
you were
anything
out there till Herrick shows up in a freaking $1 million supercar, an SF90, talking 1,000 horsepower, and driving it the way Herrick does. Like he's bulletproof, and there are no consequences.
I mean, we were right on him. Shitty event. But we ended that one.
Bringing up old wounds. I'm bringing up old wounds.
So yeah, we definitely finished that first day P1 like we did today, but we've learned some things since then, and the car's a lot better since then.
Right on, man.
Especially with the intakes and the throttle body and the plenum that you guys sent us, this car is making some serious power now. So
fantastic.
Yeah. And also we got
everybody in YouTube land. You should buy the intake because it really does work. It's not just
a dyno
thing. It makes the car faster. So.
Exactly. So I'll send you guys that data so that way you guys can go ahead and show the results. But
right on.
Yeah, I mean it's night and day difference, especially with the MS109 as well now. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. That's some witch's brew. MS109 versus 100 octane. 100 octane is a little cheaper, but MS109 literally you can't make it knock. You just can't.
Yeah.
It's the most ridiculous fuel I've ever seen. So right on, brother. Anybody got any questions for Gabe before we let him get on with his evening? Go get some adult beverages and smoke a cigar.
That's tomorrow.
Okay. We keeping it clean so you can be in good shape. I got you.
Focus on what we got to do for tomorrow.
Right on. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you joining us, brother.
Appreciate you.
And drive safe tomorrow.
Thank you.
And we'll be watching you getting on that podium, bro.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys watching, and talk to you all soon.
All right, man. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Take it easy. Bye. All right, y'all. Bit noisy there where Gabe's at, but that was really cool. We might have Ted pop in with us here in a minute. What's going on at Dundon Motorsports this week? So let's see who's with us here. We got Orist. We got 1LE Track Performance. Welcome, kind sir. You must be one of Gabe's buddies. And then we've got NB with a pedal recommendation for me. And then Orist again with the 111s for the win. It's a Ferodo pad reference. And Mr. Jack Curtis has joined us. Welcome, Jack. Todd P, what's going on, brother? You're driving soon again, aren't you, Todd? I know you took the summer off to go do summertime things, but I think the winter is coming. So we did the R&D continues. Thunder Hill. Middle October. I got you. So we've been doing some continued development here at the shop. Our new girl 9923RS has got some new dampers. So Charles has been spending some time making sure that everything plays nice, that we can get the alignment that we want on it. These are prototypes, so we'll be making a few changes with them before we were to push them out in the world. Oh, you just got some non-Kongs, right on. Yeah, you want to go show what's up? So Justin, the producer, is going to give himself a window, a live camera window here in a second, and he's going to go show us the MCS dampers in the 3RS, which is really exciting. So we're going to be at the Ridge next Thursday to test those out. We are not we're not trying not to get too excited because we're still on the same tires, still running the Super Sport R's, but the having some blow off from the MCS, having a true motorsports damper on the car will be pretty cool. And don't get me wrong, the 9923RS is very competent, but there's always a but. That the amount of adjustment that you have with the stock knobs is very narrow. It does change the car, but it's still very narrow. Having MCS on the car will get us to be able to really dial in the rebound to keep it squatty. I see Justin there. All right, just throw yourself in a little window on the side, and we'll have action cam. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we're trying something new as far as the production. We're using a software called StreamYard, and this enables folks who are remote, far away, can log in from their phone and join us, or their laptop, like Gabe just was. Makes it really convenient to be able to have extra folks join us that aren't necessarily in-house in the studio, which is cool. Hey, there's a bunch of people standing around a race car. We're also running a mini crack on the RS. We wanted to get some footage of that, show people what's up. Probably pop the hood, bro. Oh, we're going to get all up in there. It's very dark. Just pop the hood. Show them the canisters. I don't think Justin can hear me. Yeah, the check engine light was from a valve that came apart. That was the last. Sorry, I'm trying to get some of these. Todd asked a question, and I'll get back to the check engine light. There you go. You can see it all up in there a little bit. Will MCS be able to be use the knobs? No. So the knobs are all electronic, and that means that the valving in the shock has to be electronic. MCS are still manual, so we're not going to be able to use the knobs. We had some ideas to be able to do it, but would rather not wait 2 or 3 years, because here's the thing. It gets kind of technical. Mark Doran and I have been kind of going back and forth with this. This car doesn't use a CAN bus. It uses a more advanced IP address based bus, and because of that, it's much more complicated to be able to sniff CAN messages and translate them to be able to figure out what they are, what they're doing, how you would change them, what it would do, et cetera, et cetera. So with that, we're going to use manual dampers because here's the reality. Once you get everything set, you're not going to change it mid-lap in the car. I mean, you might, but you probably shouldn't. And if you are, then you're probably going to miss your exit and all the rest. So you're still going to get back to the paddock and make a change. And you can still do that with MCS. You just have to reach behind you and grab the knobs or the top of the dampers and change them there. So just a little bit less convenient, but still, in our opinion, worthwhile because we know what the MCS are capable of and how much they're transformative on a number of cars, especially cars with big downforce like the new 3RS. So Oris had a question about the check engine light. So let me give you guys a little bit of background. At our last track day with the 992-3RS, we had a valve from Helical supplied to us by a manufacturer in the UK called Helical. They've been our valve supplier for a long time. They're an OEM valve supplier. They supply Aston Martin, Porsche, Audi, BMW, a number of companies. And one of those valves came apart, so it broke. And when it broke, then the car goes into a limp mode because they're electronic valves. And when the car doesn't know where the valve is, it doesn't want to run the valve closed at high RPM. And if you're at high RPM, it will pull you back from that high RPM so that you don't damage the engine. It's a nice feature. It's not a bug. So that's been resolved. We didn't have when we did it, we wanted to change up what the car sounded like. It was a good opportunity. And we had a mini crack pipe come back from somebody that had sold a car. So it went on our car. And so now we're rocking mini crack pipe with valves. It's actually one of the reasons was, I'm not a crack pipe guy. Too loud. Mini crack pipe is decent. And on the 992-3RS, from the way that it's mapped and things, the drone isn't so bad at highway cruising speed. You get up to around 4,000, then it starts to howl a little bit. But when you're at 4,000, you're trying to move quickly through 4,000 into 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9,000. So it's good. It's good. What else? Let's talk about that a little bit. We got another LabRat finished up. And Ted is in, and that's why I keep looking at my phone on occasion because he's going to dinner. There we go. Ted is in Austin for a pair of back-to-back track days at COTA. And Ted is going to help the owner of this vehicle. The owner's name is Barry Miner. He is the you might know some of his YouTube videos. It's Track Time is his YouTube channel. And Randy Popst actually drove this car. We'll call it stock-ish. It had an alignment on it. It had Hoosiers on it. And so I think Randy got it down to 218, 219, something like that, I think. So Ted is going to go out in the car. It's on Hoosiers again, which is great. It's got full Valkyrie aero. It's got MCS. It's got our full exhaust, so our headers and our muffler. So it's making good power. I mean, the only thing Barry's missing is our plenum, honestly. And that likely will come once he gets once Larry. This will be funny. We're gonna have Larry and Barry both with GT4RSs, both at COTA. So that'll be fun. Both Larry and Barry over there. So yeah, Barry does have good videos. He does a good job of analyzing some of the things that are kind of hard to analyze. I watched his last video. Some of it's a little hand wavy from an engineering or science perspective, but he does a good job of breaking it down either way. So he makes it accessible. We'll say it that way. Some things that aren't necessarily accessible otherwise. So 992-3RS has MCS. Other thing. Briefly talked a little bit with Gabe about this. We were having issues with braking. We were running PFC 11s. PFC 11 compound has a rising friction rate with temperature, and the RS doesn't like it. Let me rephrase. The RS doesn't like it with a pro behind the wheel. I've never noticed any braking issues. I'm obviously not a pro. Ted drives the car, and he's instantly into ABS. Car's kind of pissy. So we have never driven that car with the stock brake pads. So we're going to go back to stock. We had reached out to Robin. Robin is from Girodisc. Robin is local to us. Robin is a fountain of knowledge when it comes to braking. And anecdote or side note, Charles was very reluctant to, when I told him that we were going to get some Girodisc caliper studs and use them, because the other caliper studs that he's seen in the market are not great. They don't come with a nut that can be torqued to a high enough clamp load, and if you do, then it'll strip the nut. The Girodisc studs do come with an adequately strong ARP fastener. Wow, that's crazy. He's a good driver too. I will say that. Robin is a good driver. He knows he's a good driver. Love you, Robin. But he is absolutely a good driver, and he proved it by going out and racing in Spec E46 and doing exceedingly well. I think his first race he got a podium. So fantastic. So anyway, these studs are really well done. They're really well done. They're machined well. They look great. They're well thought out. So anybody who would like to change their caliper bolts on their GT car to caliper studs, get them from Girodisc or give us a call. We're a Girodisc dealer. Happy to get them for you. They're great. They're great. I would take nothing away from them in that regard. What else? Can you me ping Ted and see what they're at, where they're at for dinner, see if he wants to join or not. And then I'll get on to the last bit, how dynos lie. There was some YouTube drama this week. Gives me heartburn running a freaking small business, and I got to deal with shit like that too. So we'll come back to that. We'll give Ted a second here, see if he wants to pop in and join and say hello. I know they're on their way to dinner, and now they're probably having a drink. And how narrow is the range for the knobs in comparison to MCS clicks? Just curious, because knobs seem really cool, but I see what you're saying. So, Todd, what we've seen from the car is, and you can think of it this way, MCS provides a broad enough range that if you were to take the car and twist all the knobs in opposite directions willy-nilly, you could make a maniacal car that was impossible to drive, literally impossible to drive. The RS, you can do that, and the car's still possible to drive. It might have some strange quirks, but you're not going to die in it, kind of thing. It's not going to go wildly out of control. And that's intentional. Porsche isn't going to give you the range that MCS has. So, yeah, I know Paul did that. Yes, I'm aware. And I gave him a whole bunch of shit for that. It's like, will you please make sure that the clicks in your MCS are where they're supposed to be? And I don't know who's touching these besides you. So don't let them do it, please. The 3RS has, we'll just say for rebound, it has +4 to -4. It has +3 to -3 on compression. It's not like it has +10 to -10. And because you would get yourself in trouble if it had that much range. MCS has dramatically more range. I would say the car, the 3 clicks of compression are equivalent to maybe 1 click of MCS compression, maybe 2. But we've got 10 that we can use. So like a lot of things, the idea of what you're getting from those knobs, electronic knobs inside the 3RS, are a little bit different than the reality. That said, the configurable traction control in the RS is pretty sweet because you can dial it back so that it's got a little bit of traction control, but not really heavy-handed traction control. So for drivers like yourself, I run it on dynamic mode. It's great. The fact that we can configure the diff, that's pretty cool. And you can tell that inside the car pretty easily. You can control the diff under acceleration. So when you're trying to move the car forward with the gas pedal, obviously everyone knows what acceleration is, or under coast or braking, right? You can change how it ramps up into effectiveness because it's an electronic diff. So having some level of control over that is pretty sweet. Looks like Ted may join us, may not. If that happens, that's great. Let's move on for a second. There was a YouTube. And let me preface this a little bit. Generally, I don't pay much attention to YouTube, and I don't pay much attention to the big YouTube channels producing content because that's what they're doing. They're producing content. They're creating entertainment. If you watch them to be educated, beware. That's generally kind of the rule. So, because the folks who are, quote, telling you things may not actually understand them at all. And that's dangerous. When they don't understand it, then when they, quote, start doing science and they don't understand what's happening behind the science that they believe they're doing, the result that they're going to come up with is nonsense, right? So we create a number of power packages for a number of cars. One in particular is for a 997. And all of our data shows that this package makes between 40 and 65 wheel horsepower, depending on the car. This particular YouTube video proceeded to test their car in 100-degree Fahrenheit weather. So one red flag. No, not talking about Soul, not talking about Valtronic, none of that. Jack's asking about the Club Sport from Racer on Rails. It's back at Racer on Rails, but we'll come back to that. So the car was ran in 100-degree Fahrenheit. It was the fan that was blowing on the intake was placed on the ground behind the car, and it was blowing a mixture of exhaust and air back at the intake. So that means that the car is ingesting some fresh air, some exhaust gases. Hey, Ted's joining. We'll come back to that. And 3, they compared it to a stock car that was run in almost 25-degree lower temps than the car with the mods on it. So the temperature thing is probably the most critical of those errors because it's not just air density that a naturally aspirated car will contend with as the temperatures elevate. As the intake temps go up and up and up, the risk of detonation in the cylinder, because everything's hotter, everything's coming in hotter. When you have a flame front and the air is less dense because it's hot, it's going to move faster. It's going to move very quickly across because you can't put as much fuel in it. We'll come to Ted here in a second. He's queued up in the back room. But let me finish my thought. So it was just kind of sad because their results said that our parts made like 10 horsepower. And this is somebody that got parts and is generally very happy with them. but didn't think about what the ramifications of producing this segment would mean for us, the guys who gave him the parts. So it's kind of shitty. And he's luckily not hugely strong in Porsche circles, but it's still out there, picked up by major news media and blah, blah, blah. So pain in the ass when you're running a small company to have to deal with this. This is a little bit of inside the curtain, if you will, pain in the ass. But let's welcome Ted. Anybody has questions about that? Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hola.
Hola. How's things in beautiful Tejas?
Austin, Texas. It's a beautiful day here.
Right on.
Mid to high 90s during the day.
Woo.
So I'm wearing shorts and sandals. And
damn straight.
Yes, it was a welcome reprieve from home.
Yeah. It's it didn't turn out too bad today, but I think it's still in the 60s, maybe.
Okay.
Everybody's saying hello.
Okay, awesome. I can't see anybody, so you're gonna have to translate all that stuff.
Probably really tiny, right?
No, I can only see you on this particular service here.
I think there is a way to see it. Philly found it. There's a button somewhere.
Oh, there it is. Got it. I do see it.
There you go. Yep, there you go. So we had Gabe on, and the Rush race, those little go-kart thingies, the Rush cars, whatever they're called.
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They have
the one that Amit has. So they had 40 of them out there at Laguna as part of Grid Life. So
awesome. I
guess that's a new thing as part of Grid Life is the Rush racing series as part of Grid Life, and they run all those cars out there too.
Cool.
So Gabe is doing well. He's looking at getting some lower times, but they're handicapped by front tires, meaning they can't find any.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
that is a problem.
He was running 3 new tires on the car. One used left and a new right. So anytime he was turning to the left, it was great. But anytime he was turning to the right, it sucked. So I'm like, that's kind of hard to drive a car, homie. So
yeah, you're gonna suffer on a couple of corners there, but
right,
making the right front the better one is definitely the move. Sorry, I got
100%.
Mosquitoes over here trying to get at me.
Yeah, absolutely. Any of your compatriots join you yet?
Yeah, so I just stepped outside from our little pre-track day dinner here. We got a couple of the guys.
Right on.
I think Barry's actually on his way. He just finished dropping the car off at the track. So
sweet.
Yeah, we'll get together with them, and we're having some tacos and some salsa and goodies.
To help everyone understand, what is it you're doing there? Why are you so far away from home?
I got tired of the weather.
I'm like, I'm out of here. Fuck this shit. I'm out.
Yep. So the reason I am here is we have a customer who just finished essentially a LabRat build for his GT4RS. His name is Barry, and previously his car was pretty darn stock. Saved for some good tires. He ran Hoosiers last year.
Yep.
And he put the full aero package, the full MCS suspension package with some critical suspension arms that we recently finished up. Yep. And our full exhaust for the 4RS. So my job is to do a couple of things. One is to make sure the setup is dialed in for him. He's got some experience, but he's got a little bit of work to do, and I want to make sure the car is not too lively for him. So
Understood.
We'll work on that.
Yep,
and then he's asked me to benchmark the car a little bit, put down a lap time, and see what she can do. There's the car. Yep. So I believe it does have the diplanes on now. That was right after everything got finished up for the first install.
Fantastic.
And we'll see what we can do. So
awesome. How's the weather looking tomorrow?
I think about the same. Peak temps of over 90, but it should be pretty nice in the morning. I think kind of high 60s in the morning, so we should be able to get some good track time where the car's happy and cool and the tires aren't complaining for their lives. So plan tomorrow is we have a gently used set of tires, and we're going to shake the car down, get the setup dialed in. I'm going to learn the nuances that are not available on the Sim Dakota. So it's my first time to Circuit of the Americas as a driver. I've been there as a coach a couple of times. So looking forward to
that. While you're there, a little bit of scuttlebutt. Yeah, gotta love the car alarm in the background.
It's really convenient, right?
Cobb was there today testing their 992 GT3 and their Cobb Access Port.
Oh, fantastic. That's good news for us.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. So if they happen to be there tomorrow, make sure to stop by and introduce yourself.
I will. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
That'll be interesting. I haven't seen the track in full Formula One getup, and I know that setup is underway because Formula One's coming over here in a few weeks. So
yeah, right on. Sorry, NB, what's that? Who's Ted?
Oh, my I rating.
Oh, nice.
I do not have an I rating. It is the base level. I haven't had an iRacing subscription for 15 years.
Right on. All right, brother. I'll let you get to it. Go enjoy some tacos. I'm jealous, and we'll chat with you over the weekend.
Yep, sounds good. I'll be putting some updates on our socials with happenings and things to share. So
anybody in the area that wants to come to COTA that can get in, Ted's going to be down there.
I think it's Chin Track Days as the organizers, and I'm sure you're allowed to be a spectator. So come say hello, look me up. I'll be wearing some form of Dundon gear, and I'll be hanging around the car that you see on the screen here. So come find me.
Right on. All right, man. Enjoy dinner. Thanks.
Right, guys.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye. All right. I have very little else to say. If anyone's got any questions for me, lay it on me. Otherwise, we can wrap up and enjoy the tiny bit left of fall nice weather in the Northwest. Ted's doing laps before and after mods. Nope. Ted is doing the after lap mods. Randy Popes did the before lap mods. So I think we're safe to say that, when you're a pro, right? And yes, there are certainly divisions in pros, right? Not everyone is Neil Johnny or Ayrton Senna or pick your poison. But in the ranks of professional race car driver driving street cars on essentially slightly stickier street tires, they're going to be I'll come back to ROR GT4. They're going to be equivalent or comparable versus high amateurs and pros and the like. So at least that's what we've seen. Guys like Seth Thomas, even Lee Keen, Ted, all very comparable. You can go back, NB, and see some of our videos from when we went to Atlanta. And you can see that Ted, within never having been to Road Atlanta, finished the day in our 992-3RS in blistering heat within 3/4 of a second of Lee Keen's time in another GT3RS. Different car, but still very comparable. So was that Lee's quality time as if his life depended on it? Of course not. He's driving somebody else's car. So, but it's still comparable. And we feel pretty confident in using that as a bit of a litmus to see what the difference in the car is. At the end of the day, the customer needs to enjoy their car because they built it for themselves. They didn't build it for a pro to go drive fast in. If so, it'd be a race car. They'd built a 992 GT3RSR, kind of thing. So the RR GT4, Jack, that car had some troubles when it got here. Memo came and pumped the tank and did some stuff to it to try and make it better. It did improve. We ran it on high octane fuel. It got better. It left with our exhaust on it. I believe the exhaust is going to be way too loud for ROR to pass WRL decibel restricted track limits. So I left it in Memo's hands to decide. Further, the tune on it, some of what we wanted to be able to control with the Cobb was not immediately easily findable in the time that we were given to be able to find it. So If this was a 981 GT4, which we have vast experience for, 718 GT4, no problem, but it's a mutt. It's in between those two and therefore kind of unique. And quite frankly, this is the first club sport that we've seen. Are there others that have already built tunes for these, have done it successfully? Absolutely. But they're racing them and have for 5 years. We don't race them. So it's the first one that we've seen. It's the first time that we've tried to tune one. And we got caught out a little bit because the maps weren't as friendly or available for what it is we were trying to achieve with it. So Charles made it better, but the car was very inconsistent. And that's a bad thing for a race car, especially one that's going to go on a dyno if it gets a podium. So we're letting the guys at ROR, we're not done because they needed to do testing. They have an event coming soon. They needed the car back. They got the car back. We will revisit that when there is more time for us to do it. So not done, just delayed. We'll say it that way. Cool. I like StreamYard. This has been pretty cool to be able to have people pop in and do some stuff. We still got I can't hear myself in these. It's probably why it sounds like I'm shouting the whole time. But we'll get all of that resolved maybe by next week, more likely in a week or so, week or two. And Ted is live via satellite. I just catching that up. Yes. So excited for our track day next week. We will have a special guest in October, which I'll just leave you guys hanging with that. Just in time for Halloween. Maybe Pumpkin makes his Halloween debut in the first time in a long time, which would be really fucking cool. So anyway, y'all, have a great weekend. I'm going to go pick up some vittles and get my ass home. So talk to you fine folks later, and hopefully you enjoyed a slightly different Whiskey Friday for this Friday. Talk to you guys soon. Good night.